Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Ryan. Today I'm going to be giving my updated tier list for specifically duelists in the current season. Daredevil's been out for a few weeks now, and we're kind of settling in. So I thought it'd be fun to give you my updated tier list for where I see duelists right now in the meta. Now, a couple of disclaimers. One, whenever you do tier lists, we won't agree. Okay, just understand that right now. I'm going to place things in categories and you're going to be like, that's stupid. We will not agree 100%. Statistically, it's not going to happen. So just beware of that. I'm going to place something, at least one thing, if not several things today, and you're going to be like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. We're going to disagree. On top of that, I'm doing this based off of like the collective meta. Okay, I'm not basing this off of like, yes, there is a player who is the best Magic player in the world. And if I put Magic in the B tier, you might say, well, clearly you've never watched so-and-so play Magic. It's like, yes, I probably have, but I'm not basing this off of what one person can do with these characters. I'm basing it off of the collective meta and how these characters tend to play out in the community as a whole. So I'm not looking specifically at league play and just that, all right? Also, just to sort of give you my perspective, I'm not approaching this tier list as somebody who mains like 2 duelists, okay? There's 23 duelists right now in the game, if my math is correct. 23 duelists. I am a lord on 15 of them, a centurion on 1, captain on like 5, right? So I'm pretty well-rounded. I think I'm pretty well-rounded when it comes to these characters, so I'm pretty familiar with each of their kits at this point. Part of that is because I've made guides for almost all of them, right? I try to make advanced guides for people who are trying to get familiar with a new hero and help them get started. So I have to understand how these heroes work in order to do that. Okay, well, let's dive in here. I got a nice hot cup of coffee. It's a beautiful fall day. If you hear background noises, because I got my window wide open because here in West Michigan, it's just gorgeous during the fall. Let's start right here at the top. I'm not going to keep you waiting. I won't go from the bottom up. Like, I'm just going to go tier to tier, starting with S tier, just to get it out of the way. S tier, I'm going to put Bucky up here in the S tier. Bucky is so good right now. You know, double tainted voltage charges, knocks people out of the sky, keeps them grounded. You know, a lot of the newer heroes that are very popular rely pretty heavily on movement, and Bucky negates movement in several ways. He can hook you, he can tainted voltage you twice, and he keeps these things looped. So he's just got a lot, and he's got his obviously his tackle, which CCs you again. So he's just got a lot of ways to mitigate movement. So if you're a dive hero, you're used to playing Black Panther or Spidey or Daredevil, or you're a dive tank like Venom or Thor or Captain America, Bucky's just so good at shutting down your movement that keeps you alive. So it's really frustrating to play against a really good Bucky if you are a movement-based hero. Even if his ult did get nerfed, his neutral gameplay is just unmatched. Tier 1. Next up, I hate Namor, but he's S tier right now. I think he's S tier right now, especially with the new team up with Hela. You know, we got rid of laser squids and I was like, praise God. And then we got this new team up and I'm like, no, it's even worse. So he's just really, really good, obviously. You know, his neutral, just not having to reload, right? Never reloads. He's just constantly chucking spears. And when they hit, and the hitbox for the headshots is pretty forgiving, I have found. He's just really obnoxious to play against. His protection of the back line, but beyond that, one of the things that really good Namors are quite good at doing in competitive play is getting around the sides and then putting squids behind the enemy back line. So I think most people think of Namor as a protector of your own team's backline, and he is really good at that, and there's a lot of value there. But a good Namor in team brawls, because it only takes a few seconds to take a quick out route and come around the side and put squids on the to target the backline. He can delete enemy healers pretty quickly like that. So do not sleep on Namor. Namor is really freaking good right now. Not to mention, he has a lot of great team up ultimates. So my buddy that I play with, he mains DPS, I main tank. I've actually been playing a lot of Angela in comp. If you were to look at my game history in comp right now, you would see like 7 Angela MVPs in my recent stretches. She's just a ton of fun to play. I think she's really slept on, and I'll talk about that in a different video. But it's fun playing with my buddy who mains Namor. because I can throw my spear down to pull everybody together, and then he drops a whale on their heads. And then you can team, like if I'm forced to play off Angela and play Emma, and I pop my ultimate to start pulling people in, he can drop the whale on them then. And we really get to combo ult quite a bit. So he's got a lot of versatility. He's really good at targeting specific people at specific times. And beyond that, his neutral survivability with his... I'm just laughing at the... I don't think you can see it on the screen here, but there's an ad here. It's a quiz to find out if you're gay. I just feel like that's probably something you should know, and you shouldn't need an internet quiz to tell you if you are or not. Maybe it's just me. Most people have a pretty good understanding of where they fall in that spectrum. Neither here nor there. Anyways, Namor, S tier right now. Now, I think a lot of people would put Hela in the S tier. I'm actually going to put Hela in the A tier. She did recently, top of A tier. And don't freak out. She's still in the top 3 for me, right? She's still in the top 3 duelists in the game right now, so don't freak out. I think most people would say she's S tier right now. I put her top of A just because I still find her very easy to kill. They did buff her bird form, so she's into that bird form faster, so she has a little bit more survivability. But I will say, and I'm really kicking myself that I kept playing through and didn't go back and record this, but I had a Hela in comp on full tilt. Full tilt. Just dropping all kinds of insults in the game chat. Because as Angela, listen, Hela is free. If you are a good Angela, Hela is free, and I mean that. Any Angie mains out there can attest to this. Free, even in comp. Yes, even in comp. But all that aside, Hela is the best hit scan character in the game right now, right? Big damage, good survivability against most heroes. Plus the new team up with Namor makes her even better, right? Even better. My next pick might surprise folks, but it's going to be Iron Fist. A good Iron Fist is really scary as a tank buster. Like, he's better than Wolverine, right? Way better than Wolverine is at tank busting. They've modified his damage because it's percentage based. So he used to be like, oh, Iron Fist goes to the back line. Now it's like, no, Iron Fist has crazy sustainability on the front line. But he's a tank buster. Yes, he's still pretty decent at taking down enemy healers, but his primary targets now are front lines and pokes. Like he can, and flyers. He's really good at taking down flyers as well. So your Ultrons, Iron Mans, things like that. But man, his sustainability is insane. But it really just comes down to how well you time his parry. If you're good at timing his parry and generating a lot of temporary HP, now you can stay in the fight. And then as you're punching, you're cooling down your next parry again. That's how that works if you're not familiar with this kit. So a polite reminder, if he turns yellow, stop shooting him. This drives me crazy when I'm in a 1v1 with an Iron Fist. I get him down to half HP and I'm like, here it comes, and I'm ready for it. And he puts up his block like this to parry, and I just wait because I'm like, if I hit him right now, I will potentially double his health. So I bait it out, and then I don't damage him, and I'm like, oh, now I got this guy dead to rights. I've got him cooked. He has no way to survive this fight. And then suddenly, out of the blue, one of my teammates is like, shoot the Iron Fist, a Punisher or whatever, and it's like, bro, what do you... I see this blue health bar just shoot up on the Iron Fist. I'm like, you just got me killed. And I always type it in the game chat. I'm like, stop shooting Iron Fist. Stop it. Just let me fight him. But anyways, Iron Fist, huge sustainability, right? He is a tank in disguise because of how much bonus HP he can just constantly be giving himself. Not to mention, because of the percentage-based, damage that he does, he can bust the front line up. He's a big disruptor of the front line. Plus, there's like a movement skill gap on Iron Fist. Most good Iron Fists aren't just going to stand in your face and punch you like this. Most good Iron Fists will be mixing in, all of his jumps and double jumps in the middle of his attacks because he kind of black holes on targets. So you can jump away, lunge forward with a punch, jump away, lunge forward with a punch, and you're out and in and out and in, and hitting a target like that is a real challenge for most people. So good Iron Fists have that movement skill gap in there as well. If you want to learn how to do that, I have a full Iron Fist guide on the channel. You should check it out. Next up in the A tier, I want to put Psylocke in here. Again, a good Psylocke is very, very scary, right? Comes down to your aim, how well you use those wing shurikens. The shoot, wing, shoot. That combo's nasty, still nasty. They have reduced her damage output. They have nerfed her invisibility duration, which I really disliked that nerf personally because I thought that it was nerfing the top like 5% or 4% of Psylocks and punishing the rest of the player base, which generally speaking, I don't care for blanket nerfs that target what the people in the top echelon can do with a character, because now the rest of the people who aren't abusing some of that tech, you know, the overwhelming majority of the community has to pay the price for the ways that the upper echelon is abusing tech. And I don't care for changes like that in general. I think sometimes you know there's a good case for it, but generally speaking, I don't like those kinds of nerfs. But anyways, Psylocke right now, still, after nerfs, insanely good. Insanely good. Great survivability with her double dashes, and really good Psylocks know how to just constantly have damage going out to cool down their other abilities like their dashes, their invisibility, their wing shurikens, etc. So, because that's how her passive works if you're not familiar with her kit. As she does damage, her passive ability shaves off seconds on her cooldowns. So really good Psylocks are good at just like constantly weaving damage into everything they do to keep their cooldowns moving much faster. So they always have a dash to get out of trouble. They always have invisibility to close gaps, things like that. Plus the changes to her ultimate make it so that she can really out damage things that used to survive her ult. And because of the way that it's coded, there's a lot of heroes out there right now that can block and reflect damage, but it's only frontal damage. And her ultimate is coded to only do backstabs. So any hero that has a frontal shield is screwed in her ult. You want to learn how to play Psylocke? I've got a full guide on my channel. Daredevil's gonna come next. He's in the A tier for me. Daredevil's scary good, right? Scary good. Very good sustainability, generating bonus HP for himself, you know, in combat, mid-combat. There's some secret tech with how he can basically amplify his own damage based on where you choose to throw your billy clubs when you do the you know, the what's it called, the chain throw ability, which I break that down in my full Daredevil guide. But there's secret tech here, and the good Daredevils know how to leverage it to amplify their own damage output, and you can basically two-shot healers, you know. And he does have a full combo, right, that can delete any squishy, where you ready your chains, highlight a target, throw the chains, dash to the target, righteous cross, and then chain slam the ground, and that's enough to kill somebody. But there's also not easier, but there's also other tech that shaves a lot of time off of that combo itself. So he has multiple ways to delete people instantly, and the good Daredevils are leveraging those things and keeping themselves in the fight, right? The bad Daredevils are the ones that go on big flanks, dive, do some damage, and maybe they kill, maybe they don't get a kill, and then they extract themselves. And that's just, they spend most of the match setting up encounters. The good Daredevils are the ones that are spending more time in fights than they are setting up fights. Does that make sense? And he has insane movement. He's got a way to boost his movement speed. He's got a way to grapple, right? And he's got a way to dash. So the good Daredevils are leveraging all of those things to be a constant factor. That's why you see the good Daredevils are often having 20 plus final hits in a match, because they're limiting their downtime and they're constantly involved. Daredevil's scary good. This is one where I'm probably going to upset some people, but I genuinely believe this, and some people are going to lose their minds about it. And I don't care. Like I said, disclaimer at the beginning of the video, I'm going to throw some opinion in here, and you're not going to like it. But the last person I would put in the A tier is Blade. Okay, don't freak out on me. Don't freak out. I think Blade is seriously underrated. His frontline brawling ability is just bonkers, absolutely bonkers. And his ability to swap back and forth between doing ranged damage, that, by the way, is really, really good ranged damage. If you can dial in the projectile speed of his shotgun and keep things at, 10 meters out and more, he does more damage. But yeah, he's really good at taking out poke healers or priming tanks with his ranged damage, and then always go into your bloodlust form and then dash. Okay, a lot of people get this wrong. They'll dash in and then they'll activate their bloodlust and start slashing. Don't do that. Hit E first to activate bloodlust and then dash in, because when you do that, you will land the dash in your bloodlust form and immediately do a flip, and it will charge up like 5 stacks on your initial contact with that enemy, as opposed to dashing in, activating bloodlust, and going ching, 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 ching. To get your first 5 is much longer than just dashing in, doing a spin, and having 5 immediately. and then you will ramp up your DPS considerably when you learn how to do that. But anyways, Blade is really freaking good, guys. Really freaking good. I have him at the bottom of the A tier personally, and I have a lot of success with him in comp as well. Now we get to the top of B tier is going to be Phoenix. She was up here last season, or earlier this season rather, before she was nerfed. Now she's down here. They nerfed her Beyblade tech, and they nerfed her melee. They took Scorch stacks away from her melee, which I think is rather unfortunate. I really liked that part of her gameplay loop. Like, she's a squishy, but she's got to get in there, right? Get in there to do some brawling. A lot of people were like, she can out-brawl tanks. I'm like, maybe at like the very highest level of play you can, but then if you're abusing the Beyblade tech. But I thought that nerfing the Beyblade tech was enough. That's me personally. But now she's dropped from S down to the top of B. She's still a very strong hit scan character, generates a lot of damage, but you need teammates to capitalize on that damage in order for her to be effective. Otherwise, she's just feeding the enemy healer's ultimate energy. So you have to have another duelist on your team that can capitalize on the damage that you're spreading throughout the crowds. Otherwise, it's just wasted damage. Okay, next up in the B tier, we're going to go with Star-Lord. I think Star-Lord's kind of a boring hero. Personally, he's not very complex. He's literally point and shoot. You point, you shoot, you reload with your flips. And being a good Star-Lord comes down to when you time those right-click reloads in order to mitigate incoming damage, right? How to negate certain abilities that might CC you. So that's really where the skill gap with Star-Lord is because his flight is really basic compared to some other heroes in the game. His flight's very basic. You use it to get in and get away, but it's really his right-click reloads where the skill gap is. Beyond that, if your aim is good, you'll be a good Star-Lord, and they recently buffed his ultimate. So he's getting his ultimate very quickly, right? He gets it very quickly, and then he can dump out a ton of damage. His ults are where most of his final hits generally tend to happen. And a lot of times, most Star-Lords are charging up their ultimates by doing a ton of damage to the enemy front line, because tanks are very easy targets to get free damage on. So they dump a lot of damage into the front line, activate the ult, go over the front line, eliminate squishies, stuff like that. And good Star-Lords are quite good at chasing down poke heroes on the enemy team. So if you got a sniper, a Hela, or whatever that's perched up, or Hawkeye that's kind of isolated, they're really good at pouncing on those guys too. And again, that right-click ability comes into play because most poke heroes have one ability they can use to save themselves, right? If it's Hawkeye, he can hit you away with his sword and then get back to his team. If it's Black Widow, she can do the spin kick, grapple, and she can get back to her team. Like most poke heroes, Hela has the E ability that sucks you into that black hole. Most poke heroes have something they can do, even Squirrel Girl. So again, good Star-Lords know to dive on them, damage them, and then use their right-click ability to negate that one ability that the poke hero has to get away. But Star-Lord, really good right now. I think too many people see things in B tier and think B is bad. No, B is like the bench line for good. B is a very bloated class because it's where most game developers want everyone to be, right? And then this is where the nerfs and buffs happen as they move people into the A and S tiers and then back down to B in subsequent seasons. Just like we saw with Phoenix. It's like one season she's up here, she gets a nerf, she comes back down here. And that's one of the ways they make the seasons feel distinct is by moving people. They want most of the heroes are going to be here in B tier, and then they're going to bump them up into A and S, or they're going to bump them down into C and D, and then right back, right? This is sort of the tether point where everything comes in and out of is the B tier. So B is not bad. B is the bench line. B is good. B is good. Next up, I'm going to put Magic right here. Initially, I was kind of worried she was getting some buffs. I didn't want her to become too strong because she's like my favorite duelist to play alongside Blade is also one of my favorites to play. But I was worried she was going to get overbuffed. That didn't happen. She's still just really good, right? Really good. And if you are really good, you can elevate your personal gameplay up to A tier and S tier, depending on the lobby, depending on who they're running, and depending on how well you know Magic's combos and rotations. She's got a couple of combos to instantly delete people, and it's really all about how you use your pop-up ability to mitigate people's ability to get away. All that stuff, disrupt their movement. She's really, really fun, really, really good. I love playing Magic. One of the most balanced heroes in the game, I think. Next up is going to be Mr. Fantastic. Mr. F is a ton of fun to play, but again, he is like really dependent on what the enemy team is running. He's like a counter pick, okay? Mr. F is not somebody that you pick from the beginning thinking this will be a banger pick. Mr. F is somebody you pick when the enemy team is running certain things to shut them down. So Mr. Fantastic can perma stun lock. That's like his thing, right? He can perma stun lock. So if there's an enemy Angela on the other team that's a real problem for your backline, then pick Mr. F. Because what you can do is, as Angela's coming in, you hit E to chest bump her to knock her out of the sky. You hit her once, and then you distended grip. You go bam, bam, you grab her twice, and yank her back to you so she can't fly away. And then you hit her again, and as she's trying to fly away, you hit E again to chest bump her again, and she gets grounded yet again. So this is kind of his whole thing, is like, if somebody's being a problem, you pick Mr. F and you perma stun lock them into frustration, and eventually they usually swap off that hero because you just completely shut them down. Really good against Black Panthers, right? Black Panther comes in and you chest bump him, and while he's slowed, then you get a free distended grip on him. You go hand, snap, and then E again, and now he's almost dead, and he's just been stun locked 3 times in a row, and it's really frustrating for him to play against. Plus, your primary attack, most people just point and hit. Don't do that. What you want to do is you want to sweep, because his damage stays out there for a while. So what you do with Mr. Fantastic is, as these fast heroes are whipping around, zipping around, flying around, you're sweeping across the field. You don't need to try to target them. You don't need to try to hit them. You're like a sprinkler. And you will hit them, right? Just get at the elevation that they're at and sweep across, and you'll hit them. So Mr. Fantastic, a really solid counter pick right now. I really like playing him when I need to. The last hero I'm going to put in the B tier is going to be Hawkeye. Hawkeye's potential to, like a good Hawkeye, can be a menace to the enemy backline, and he doesn't have to go anywhere to do it. He stands right behind his Vanguards, right in front of his own healers, and Hawkeye will charge up his passive on the enemy front line and then pull the reticle off the tanks and onto the healers behind them and one-shot them, right? He is scary good at doing that. Not only that, but he's also quite good at shutting down support ults. Again, this is the kind of guy you pick for a reason. If the enemy supports are not going down, they've got too good of backline protection and dive isn't working, you go the other direction with it, you go Hawkeye, and then you weave the arrows past the front line and into the back line, take out the healers. He's also a great pick when the enemy is running triple DPS, right? Because that means there's only one tank usually, which means there are 5 people on the enemy team that you can one-shot kill, right? So he feasts in those environments. So a really good Hawkeye who has his primary fire just dialed in can be an absolute menace. That's why I think he's still in the B tier. Okay, now we're going to head to the C tier, which is just below average. First thing I'm going to do is put Torch in the C tier. I think the Human Torch is a lot of fun. I really like playing Torch. I think that the best version of the Human Torch we ever had was on launch. The way they launched Torch, I thought was perfect. And people whined and complained that he was not good. And so he got overbuffed, and then he got over-nerfed after that, right? He got overbuffed into the S tier, and then he got over-nerfed down currently into the C tier. I think that he was A tier on launch. Like I was doing scary things to people as Human Torch on launch, and I loved it, but they over-nerfed him. So it pains me to put him there, but I think that's where he's at right now. People just got so tired of Torch that they nerfed him too far down. Next up are going to be some of your safe picks for me. So C tier, because they're really safe. Your skill ceiling isn't super high, but your ground level is still high enough to be competitive, right? So next up, I'm going to put Moon Knight. I do think there's a Moon Knight skill gap. I talk about it in my Moon Knight guide. It really comes down to the way you use his Moon Blade and some of your movement tech that you can leverage, like grappling straight at your feet to shoot yourself up into the sky, stuff like that. But generally speaking, Moon Knight is not a hyper complex character to play. I'm a Lord Moon Knight. He's a ton of fun. I do enjoy being able to just spread damage throughout the whole field, but it takes a really special Moon Knight to be able to secure a ton of final hits, right? In a competitive environment, not just quick play. I think that when you take Moon Knight into comp, that's when you start to see him show his cracks. He is a free kill for me as an Angela main. He's 100% free. Like when I see a Moon Knight on the enemy team, I get excited because I'm like, I'm gonna feast And usually they end up swapping off just because we completely sideline them. So I think that he's a safe pick, but his ceiling only goes so high. The same thing is going to go with Punisher. He can be hard countered. You get the shield tanks out there. You get a Strange and a Magneto. There's only so much he can do at that point, right? Also, really good divers know how to deal with him and his shotgun. I don't tend to have much trouble as Angela countering Punisher. Usually I dive on him, I go melee primary, and then I'll drag him away, and I'll hit him with one big attack after that, and then immediately the shield goes up. Because what he's going to do is he's going to swap to his shotgun, and he's going to try and put me down with it. But if I put the shield in his face, he goes boom, boom, boom. Usually after 2 or 3 shots, he's charged up my attack meter a considerable amount. I drop the shield and hit him again, right? Punisher is a safe play. He's a 1-star hero. You point and shoot, right? You point and shoot. When things get close, you switch to your shotgun and you point and shoot. He's not hyper complex. He's approachable, he's safe, but again, his ceiling only goes so high. And along those same lines, that's why I'm going to put Wanda right here too. Wanda is a safe play, okay? You can do, I've MVP'd comp, matches even in the Grandmaster tier back when I was playing more consistently as Wanda. But again, her ceiling only goes so high. She doesn't have explosive damage output. She has constant damage output. And her Chthonian Blast, you can lean on that to help with burst damage, but generally speaking, she just doesn't put out a ton quickly. She's really good at mitigating, enemies who come in alone, right? Your divers and things like that. And she can go after flyers. She's really good at chasing down flyers. But beyond that, she's a safe play, not an explosive play. Her ceiling only goes so high. The last person I would put in the C tier is going to be Black Panther. He's going to be the bottom of the C tier for me. Again, as Angela, he's free. He's kind of a free kill right now. And they end up getting frustrated, which is kind of funny. Making a diver tilt is one of my guilty as charged. Just one of my favorite things to do in this game. It's just fun, isn't it? It's just fun. But anyways, seeing Black Panther's rage after seasons of being up here is oddly satisfying. But unless he's got a Hulk on his team, he's kind of a free kill. And there's just so many heroes lately who have come out with block abilities that throw off his vibranium marks, right? Because his whole thing is that he needs to dash through a vibranium mark in order to reset his spear to apply another one. So if you are good at timing your blocks, you can mess up his... Because the thing that makes him hard is that he's constant dashing. He goes spear, dash, spear, dash, spear, dash, kick, dash, stuff like that. So if you can throw off his rhythm, his loop, by denying him the reset on his vibranium charge, then he's cooked. And a lot of people have ways to do that right now. Plus, they nerfed his health. He goes down a lot easier. All right, now we get to the C tier. Spider-Man's going to be, or D tier, sorry. They're just not in a good spot right now. Spider-Man's going to be up here, or down here rather. I think most people don't care. Spidey mains have they've been feasting for so long up here until just a couple of recent seasons where they've started to drop down the ranks. I'm a Lord Spidey. I think Spidey's a lot of fun. He's highly technical. I do respect a good Spider-Man because there is a lot of animation canceling and movement tech that you have to leverage in order to really hit the highest skill ceiling possible on Spidey. And I think that a really good Spidey can still be a problem, but there's so many ways to counter him now, and he's been nerfed a couple of times as well. So his general viability has consistently dropped into now, I think, the D tier. I just don't fear a Spider-Man anymore. It used to be like he was public enemy number 1 when you saw one on the other team. And now I just don't feel nearly as threatened. Just don't. Next up is going to be Iron Man. He's kind of a sitting duck for a lot of, with Hela being as popular as she is right now, Iron Man's not a good pick. With Iron Fist being as good as he is right now, Iron Man's a bad pick. With Bucky being as good as he is right now, he can ground you, right? There's just, all of his counters are really good right now, which makes him really bad right now. Really bad. Next up is going to be Black Widow. I love playing Widow. In terms of how much fun they are to play, Widow would be up here for me in the A or S tier because she's so fun. I really dig it. But just being honest about where she falls in the meta right now, she's going to be in the D tier. It takes a really good Black Widow to make me nervous, right? Otherwise, they don't scare me as much as they used to. Next up is going to be Storm. Again, she's just so slow. In quick play, a really good Storm can have a good time. But in comp, she's going to get chewed to pieces for all the same reasons I said about Iron Man, except she just doesn't have Iron Man's mobility. She's a lot slower. But if there's a Bucky on the enemy team, a Hell on the enemy team, Iron Fist on the enemy team, she's cooked. She's absolutely cooked. So that's why she's considerably below average right now. Next up is going to be Wolverine. I called this, by the way, because I put out my Wolverine guide and then I saw the patch notes and I said at the end of the video, I was like, just so you know, he's getting nerfed and I think it's going to be too much. And then it ended up being too much. He got nerfed into oblivion. He's just not good right now. His ultimate is still pretty good. Great at taking down backline, but that's about it. And lastly, we got Squirrel Girl, which I'm not upset about. Again, she's just a very approachable hero. She's a safe play. She does damage. She doesn't really get kills. Generally speaking, you'd be like, oh, I get 20 final hits with her match. You're wrong. Generally speaking, most people are not a threat anymore on Squirrel Girl. Right? She's been nerfed. And I don't mind the nerfs, you know, her explosive damage and the radius of it. I think those are all good changes. She can still do a lot of damage just to the front line to get you out the gate or get you through a choke point. But beyond that, you're probably going to swap off or you're going to have a hard time. Because all these other duelists that are up here are going to eat you for breakfast. And they're not even going to blink doing it. So anyways, that's it. That's the tier list for me. Give me one that you agree with and one that you disagree with, okay? So give me in the comment section, be like, hey, I like where you put this character. I totally agree on that. But this other character you put down here, I think they're up here. Or I think you put them too high. I don't think they're as effective as you think they are, right? I love discourse as long as it's respectful. But yeah, anyways, thanks so much for watching the video. And hopefully we'll see you in the next one. I got some other videos planned for the next week. And we should have a good time with it. But anyways, thanks again for supporting my channel. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Be warm and well fed, my friends, and hope to catch you in the next video. Bye-bye.